Hello, dear friends. Recently, we talked about emotions, and in the comments, we are asked to highlight another question. What is the difference between the state, feelings, and emotions? You can immediately pay attention to the fact that such a capacious word as state can refer to various aspects. We often hear a stressful state, post-stressful state, a state of joy, sadness, a state of harmony. So these states are replaced one after another. As for emotions, they are simple states. For example, I can cite any screams or similar simple aspects of our consciousness. It is simple, unambiguous emotions. If we are already talking about human feelings, then a feeling is a certain complex or a set of individual emotions that are mixed with each other or synthesized and create some kind of special volumetric complex state. Therefore, depending on what exactly a given person is going through at a given time, we can say that he is in some kind of state. He expressed an emotion or expressed some kind of feeling. Moreover, different people's feelings may differ from one another, even if we call this feeling by the same word. It will still be a completely different state for different people. And transitions from one state to another, for example, from state of sadness to state of dejection, to a calmer, balanced or joyful state, it can occur due to a person's activity in terms of expressing emotional and sensory states. Some blocked similar states. As an example, a purification ceremony, which I managed to attend in Brazil. We were invited to a purification festival called Fiesta. This is a very beautiful, bright, colorful, costumed holiday. People have been preparing for it for a long period of time. They sew interesting costumes, which is reflecting the history of mankind from different times. Theatrical performances are being prepared, and this celebration lasts all night. All the time the drummers play huge drums, replacing each other after half an hour, and literally squeezing their t-shirts from sweat. So they put a lot of diligence in their drumming. The gathered people, they dance rhythmically to the rhythmic beat of drums all night long. And from rhythmic dancing, someone occasionally falls into a trance state. Falls, hysteria begins. Some screams and screams arise. But it is very good, because a person has an emotional outburst. What he has been accumulating in himself for a whole year finally comes out of him. After which the person rises very satisfied, in a good mood. He really got rid of a heavy load. And so periodically one or the other falls into such a state or trance, freeing himself from some blocked states. And then the whole year again accumulates tension until the next such holiday, when the accumulated can be thrown away again and the person will calmly continue his daily life. In Christianity, we observe this in church. Sometimes it is called exorcism. And what are demons? Demons are some of our suppressed states that we have been accumulating inside ourselves for a certain time. And during prayer purification, someone may fall into a trance state, and then there is a spontaneous release of suppressed states. When this happens at the psychologist's reception, it is considered a very great success. This state is called catharsis, an emotional release from what has accumulated in life. After such an outburst, as a rule, a person feels much better, and even some disease may decline. For example, I had such a case when friends asked me to accept one woman who had a large percentage of skin damage with neurodermatitis. And I had to use such a technique which allowed me to produce an emotional outburst. After that, almost before our eyes, the skin began to recover. And one such session, one meeting, was enough for a woman to get rid of her illness. And moreover, if she had a depressed state before the session, then immediately after the emotional release, her eyes became clear. A satisfied smile appeared. And she said that it had become so good and easy. She had not felt such an inner state for a very long time. Such methods exist among different peoples, and they certainly require a certain amount of time. Either, as I said, in Brazil, when people dance rhythmically all night, or it can be some kind of breathing practice. It can be a prayer purification. But I have my own methodology, which I started using back in early 90s. When you can quickly enough, literally within a minute less, you can create a state where a person will have such an emotional outburst. The trait of this outburst, in the form of hysteria, or some kind of growl, or something else, it is depends on how strong the emotional states were blocked in the person, and how traumatic the situation in which it happened was. In addition, transitions, of course, from one state to another, from a more depressing state to a more positive one, can also occur due to a mental conceptualizations. When a person, through reflection, begins to understand what mistake he made in life, where, in what situation he made the wrong actions that would be more justified, and by changing your attitude to the situation, respectively, relief of the condition can also occur. And the task of a psychologist or a person who seeks to help another is precisely to create such an external condition for a person when he could have an understanding that would improve his condition. There are a lot of things that you have to face in life, but I emphasize that for more than 30 years I have been working with people, and over the years I have had to deal with different types of diseases and conditions. I try to share my experience with you, and you will learn a lot more interesting things in the future.